Welcome to the World Championship Air Race Podcast, giving you the behind-the-scenes look into the World Championship Air Race. My name is Alex MacPhail, and I'll be chatting to guests from the air racing community all around the world. Make sure to subscribe on your podcast platform to keep up to date with our latest releases. Now fasten your seatbelts, prepare for takeoff, and let's get airborne. Good day again, once again, welcome to Airborne, the official podcast of the World Championship Air Race. I'm very excited to have Martin Sonka with us today. Martin Sonka, the 2018 World Champion. He's also a national champion in the Czech Republic, Air Force pilot. We're going to get into all the weeds about flying and high-performance aeroplanes, high-performance competition, racing, winning. Martin, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Hello, everyone, and hello from Czech Republic.
Oh, nice. It looks, from what I can see, the light coming in the room looks like a good day in the Czech Republic. How is it? What training did you do today? Which aircraft were you flying? What routine were you up to?
For aerobatics, I use Extra 300 SR, which is beautiful aerobatic single-seat airplane for unlimited category. It's actually ex-Peter Bechenet's airplane. So now I use it. Actually, he flew like 25 hours with the airplane, and the resting 700 is mine. So it's I use the airplane already a few years, and I love the airplane.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, I've been having this conversation with a few people over the last few weeks. So what is the essential difference? We're going to get into the weeds right early in this conversation. An Extra 300 SR, there's the 330 SC, these high performance, real latest unlimited competition aerobatic aircraft. How does that compare to the Edge 540 and the race plane, like the feel or the performance, or what is the essential difference, if you could sum it up easily?
The version SR, actually, I think there were built only two pieces of this airplane, I think, if I remember correctly. One was used by Peter Bechenet in Red Bull Air Race, and another one by Nicolas Ivanov from France. And they both are now they are using they are being used for aerobatic. And I think Peter, he flew just 3 races with the airplane, and then I think he switched to Edge. So even though it looks similar for somebody who is not like too much in aviation, it looks very, very similar, but there are actually big differences. The airplane is not that fast. We have now super tuned versions for air racing. It's gaining so quickly speed and accelerating very fast, which is something with full power what we use for aerobatics. But if we cut the engine to idle, we need to slow down, and the Edge, he still wants to fly fast, so it's not that good for aerobatics. I mean the versions V3 and the air race versions we have with super small canopy and shorter landing gear, wingtips, and so on. It's quite reduced view out from the cockpit. Because during air racing, we mainly look just into the front and up during the pull-up maneuvers. And during aerobatics, actually, most of the time we look somewhere to the back on the vertical. If you need to rotate like 1 1/4 roll upwards, so with the sky, blue sky, you don't see there the 1 1/4, and if you want to stop it in like exactly 1 degree precision, you have to look behind you, and so you need much bigger canopy with better view, like to your back. So so that's the main difference for me. We use a little smaller rudder and elevator. Actually, the SR I'm using, it still has the racing smaller rudder. So for the classic aerobatics, it's okay, but especially for freestyle, it's a little disadvantage for me I would prefer like much bigger, rather at least the original, which is like the size which SC is using, because it's more or less SC. It's just SR, it's racing version. It's there's one fuel tank less to save some weight of the airplane and so on. But yeah, uh, the Edge, it's built on the base of the aerobatic competition aerobatic airplane, but with all the modifications we have, it's simply just special tool for air racing, and it's very difficult to convert the airplane back to the aerobatic version, and very expensive.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, from what I hear in your summary there, that was a wonderful summary of it. So the evolution is that there were competition aerobatic aircraft in the beginning that was then created into a racing version with aerobatics in the beginning stages of Red Bull Air Races. There was a little bit of aerobatic maneuvers involved in the racing, and as it went on to more sort of pure racing, you don't need such big control surfaces at the back. Obviously, you want to maneuver quickly, but the main thing is speed and not losing speed. But in competition, the ability to slow down quickly is still a requirement. The ability to have big control surfaces is a requirement. So there's been quite a shift in now the unlimited competition aerobatic aircraft. Although it looks in the same form factor, it's quite a different beast altogether.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's.
Okay, so there's a lovely picture behind you. What is this aircraft behind you there? Your Red Bull.
It's my Edge actually. It's my Edge 540, or our Edge, and I got the painting after winning the world championship title. So I like the picture. It remembers the beautiful season 2018 we had with all our fans and my team and so on. So yeah, it's
It's a great painting and a nice celebration. Obviously, the memories that go with it must be something you're never going to forget. But before we get too deep into it, I want to come back to this painting later on. I want to just backpedal a little bit. So let's talk about the formative years and where it was that aviation bug caught you. We're a similar age and started flying at a similar time, you and I. But where was your, in the sort of late teens and that time of life where you start tracking down where you want to go, how did the aviation bug get you?
like how I started with flying, or
Yeah, the process before how you started, when you were 15, 16, 17 years old, wondering what can I do in life? Were you exposed? Is there someone in your family that flies? Was there a friend? Did you go to air shows? Where did those thoughts come from?
um, actually, I'm the very first pilot in our family. Only my father was a huge fan of aviation, or he is still a big fan of aviation. So, uh, with a lot of books at home in his bookshelf, so I was actually staring into the books, and uh, when I was really small, I looked just on the pictures of those airplanes there, and then I read all the books, and probably somewhere there when I was 6 years old, uh, that was kind of like a start of my love into aviation, into the shape of the airplanes and so on. And so actually, since that age, I started with modeling, airplane models, uh, and very often, because my hometown is very close to local aero club airport. So very often during the weekends we went to the aero club with our small airplanes, throwing them into the wind and into the air. And I always look on the real airplanes, and I started like with the ideas, like, yeah, one day I would like to fly like these guys, and because I read all the books, actually the real dream was to be a fighter pilot, to be a military pilot. And when I was 17, I just took all my money I had. I came there at the airport again, and I like told them, like, if or asked them if they could give me a ride in whatever airplane, and they asked me like, how much do you have? And I said like 500 crowns. Okay, so it's not that much. So yeah, okay. So they pushed out a a glider. It's a Czech-made glider. It's called Vivat,
Okay.
L13 Vivat. Two-seater, one seat next to each other. We flew 15 minutes, and I was just amazed. And immediately, once we landed, I wanted to sign into a pilot training, and they said, "Ah, yeah, it's summer, and normally you need to go through a theory lessons, which we normally do on winter. So actually, you'll start flying next year." And I said, "Okay, so I definitely want to sign in, but do you have something quicker? How to get easier? How to get back to the air?" And they said, "Yeah, you can start to jump with parachute." So I said, "Okay, so let's start this." And yeah, 1 week later, I was jumping from the airplane with the parachute, and I love it as well. It's beautiful sport actually. And the next year I started with gliders, and then I was lucky because I managed to get into the military academy to study at the military academy, and I actually since that I spent 17 years in the Air Force as a military pilot.
Okay, well, besides the parachute jumping, I was nodding along thinking, wow, this sounds very familiar to me. So, also when I was about 6 years old, my father had lived in the UK at the time, and we traveled from South Africa, my sister and I. So I got exposed to 747s traveling internationally, and would sit in the cockpit and look at all the buttons and just think this was an amazing life. So that was the 6-year-old exposure, and then carried on with the excitement and the passion. And when I was 17, I was given a 20-minute flight for my birthday, and then thought this was it. And then again, also applied to the Air Force. So I didn't do the jumping, but then went to the Air Force after that too. And so there was a lot of similarities. And tell me, in the Czech Air Force, did you excel in your course and get selected in a lot of the Air Forces? In order to get into the fighter line, you have to be in the top area of the top positions in your class to get there. Was that something that came naturally for you?
Actually, it's not every year. It's not the similar. The Air Force or the military academy, they changed the studying program a little bit. But when I was actually starting my studies there, I knew from the very beginning that I'm studying as a military pilot. A few years after, we had I think the similar program is in United Air Force Academy. I think that and many others, when the young people, the young soldiers, they don't know where they end up actually at the end of the studies. And after 2-3 years, the best ones, for example, are selected being a pilot or whatever. In my case, it was I knew that if I will finish the university, I will be a military pilot, which was much easier. And now, for example, I'm still flying as an instructor with young military pilots, and those are which they came to the academy, or it's University of Defense. It's renamed, and they didn't know what they will actually be as a profession at the end of the studies. And I don't know if this is the best version or scenario, because there are some people which are simply not 100% into aviation, because we were like fanatics into aviation, and we all in my class, we all wanted to be a pilots. These guys, they come to university, and during the studying, and there they decide like, oh, okay, so what about, yeah, I'm quite good at school with all the exams, so what about to be a pilot? But they never flew, for example. So
Yes.
so I don't know if this is the very best scenario, but anyway, yeah, that's how I started with the flying or being a pilot.
But that's interesting because that's another thing in common with air forces and militaries around the world, is that you can be sure that that version will change again in 3 or 4 years' time. They'll try a new program and a new method. You know, in the South African Air Force, they had a trainer aircraft, the Harvard, the Texan, and everyone went through the Harvard, and then they changed it to do, well, you do half the course on the Harvard, and then you get streamed to fighters or transport or helicopters, and then they changed it. There's no Harvard, and you go straight onto the fighters, and then they changed it. So every few years the thing changes. So you'll be sure, Martin, at some point this version will change again.
Yeah. And then we were actually divided into three groups, like as you say, like into fighter pilots, transport pilot, and helicopter pilots as well. But it was done during the during the practical training, the pilot training, according how good you were in the airplane, plus how good you were at school during the school exams and the theory and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then you ended up streamed in the fighter line, and right away, was it what you had hoped it was going to be? I mean, everyone's starry-eyed kids want to be a fighter pilot, but is it what you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, it was just one aim, one goal, to be a fighter pilot, and I had no alternative scenarios. I just wanted to be a fighter pilot, and yeah, I knew that I have to be good at school and good at during the pilot training and so on, and I was very lucky that I was selected, and yeah, and it was just my fulfilling of my childhood dream. I would pay money for such a job, and I got my salary. So yeah, it was amazing.
It is incredible, and long may it continue for the generations that come. That's one of these questions you get asked all the time. All around the world, militaries' budgets are being cut. People don't like the idea of war, etc., and they want to reduce the government spending on military. And so naturally, the armed services get less and less funding. The base walls aren't as well painted, and there's fewer aircraft available. The squadrons are reduced, the flying hours are reduced, there's no fuel, etc. But then people ask me, you spent 10 years in the Air Force, would you recommend it to my son who's 17? I say, absolutely, because the Air Force is not about the wall, it's not about the airplane, it's about the people and the training and the experience. And yes, I would pay for it too.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And I just love every single day I spent in the Air Force. I just remember with very nice memories. Of course, there were some up and downs as always, but yeah, I spent very, very nice years in the Air Force. I would not change it.
And the last couple of years you were flying on the Gripen. Now, that's a wonderful airplane. We have them in South Africa as well. So tell me about your tour flying there. Fourth generation fast jet fighters. Wonderful.
Yeah, it was just yeah, the peak of my military career. We started flying with Zlin 142 basic training. After that, like 70 hours, we were selected who will fly jets, who will fly transport airplanes, helicopters. Then L-29 Delfin, which is very old Czech-made trainer, and we were actually the very last class flying this airplane, and those airplanes were retired once we finished the pilot training. Then L-39 Albatros, L-159 Alka, and yes, 39 Gripen, and of course all the airplanes before were subsonic, and Gripen is 2 Mach supersonic fighter jet. So yeah, it was incredible flying. I always, when I lined up on the runway, I loved that view, those, I don't know, 2.5 kilometer long runway, sitting in the beautiful cockpit. I always look behind me on those beautiful delta shaped wings, and I said, like, wow, it's incredible. I'm really sitting here, and now I just push the throttle forward, and I can take off into the stratosphere. So yeah, I really loved it, and the airplane is, of course, multi-purpose airplane. So all the training of all the dogfights and tactics and everything is just every military pilot must love it. It's just, you feel like a really like a boy having really expensive toy.
The older you get, the more expensive the toys get, but they're still toys. Boys and their toys. So Martin, at what point along this journey did you start in the competition aerobatics or small aircraft aerobatics? Where did that fit in your career?
Actually, my love into aerobatics started at the very beginning of my pilot training, already during the glider pilot training here in Tabor at my home airport, already during the basic training where you need to perform some spins, recovery, tail slide, and so on. So I just realized that all these maneuverings is what I love the most, even like more than just fly straight or. And I still fly gliders actually, and I love cross country flying with gliders, climbing in the thermal streams. But yeah, from the very beginning, the aerobatics, flying upside down and so on. So it was just what I love the most. So when I had enough hours to make my aerobatic license on gliders first, so I did so. When I had the aerobatic training, my instructor said like, yeah, now you have the aerobatic training, so you should go and compete in aerobatics. So I went to compete at our nationals in the basic categories and then the more difficult ones. And in the Air Force, we started with the powered airplanes and with aerobatics as well as a part of the training. And again, like I just was really sure that the maneuvering is something I love. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so when I finished the university, the studies at the university, I had already my civilian pilot license as well, and I started with the powered aerobatics as well. So actually in those years, right after my studies at the military academy, I was competing in glider aerobatics simultaneously with the powered aerobatics. Okay. And then one day, our Czech national aerobatic trainer called me on my phone. We had just flying action in the military, and I was just rushing into like for another flight, and he said like, just very quickly, I have one spot in the Czech national team, so would you like to join and be part of the Czech national aerobatic team? And I said, wow, of course. And it was 2005, and since then I'm in the Czech national team, 1 year in advanced category flying Zlín 50, and then we had before Sukhois, the Russian Sukhoi 31 with the ejection seat, very nice airplane, very good aerobatic airplane. So since 2006, I'm competing in unlimited category. The Sukhois first, and last 9 years the extra.
Okay, well, it sounds like an amazing thing to be doing on the side, representing your country in the aerobatics, representing your country in the military. You know, fast flying fighter aircraft, flying competition. They're quite different aircraft, but both of them, you know, a lot of joy out of flying both those types of aircraft. Both of them very maneuverable, but quite different disciplines too.
Yeah, exactly. And during the week, I was serving in the Air Force, and at the weekends I was competing in aerobatics or training aerobatics. And I know it was just, again, like I loved it, life at the airport, and I just moved from one airport, from the military airport to civilian to Aero Club, practicing the aerobatics. So yeah, and even though it's just that much different, it gives you many things as for pilot, which you can use actually vice versa in the other type of the airplane, and it's just experience and as yeah. The better you, or the more you fly, the better for you as a pilot. It's just more experience with all the gliders and so on. It was just great school for me as a pilot, and still is actually.
I'm sure it's added a lot to your skill set, and your story sounds similar in a way to Matt Hall, where he also got involved in competition aerobatics while flying fighters still in the Air Force. It's not a very common thing, certainly where I stay. I can't think of anyone who was that sort of involved in competition aerobatics while still in the Air Force. Is it common where you are? Do people do that quite a lot, or are you also an outlier doing fighter flying and
no,
aerobatics?
it's not very common. Actually, there were I think 2 more like active aerobatic pilots flying in the Air Force, and but they were not like that much active as me. I was really like pushing and I was really just aviation
Having fun.
fanatic.
Having fun.
But yeah, we were maybe three, and they were just uh, and they were actually not part of the Czech national team, so they were competing just on the local championships. So they didn't had to solve those days off because of having a world championship in United States, for example, for 2-3 weeks and so on. So it was a little bit more difficult for me, but I always used my holidays instead of traveling with my family to see an ocean or whatever and spend those 2 weeks on the beach. So we spent beautiful 2 weeks at the airport during my competition. So yeah.
Still get you still get we're still going to have a trip. We're still going to see the world, but we're not going to a beach.
Exactly. Yeah. It's even better than a beach.
Much better. And did your family quite happy with this arrangement? Do they enjoy it? Are they all bought into flying around the world and seeing more flying?
Yeah. It's a huge advantage for me that my family, my wife, and it makes my life very easy regarding or as regards my profession, because I think they love to spend time at the airport, and my kids actually are growing up at the airport and flying with me always when it's possible to fly with me, and they love it. So yeah, it's I'm very lucky from this point of view, because yeah, sometimes even good pilots, if they don't have such a background, it's very difficult for them to compete or just to do what they love and so on.
And to manage your time accordingly, yeah. Okay, so then you build from strength to strength, and you join the national team. You start carrying on unlimited. And tell me about the journey then from this competition aerobatics to getting involved in the Red Bull Air races. Because you were involved in 2010, was that right, when you started?
Yeah, I joined the Red Bull Air Race 2010, and it was 2007. We had World Championship in Spain, in Granada, and there was I landed from one competition flight, and there was a guy from the United States, and he said, do you know what Red Bull Air Race is, and do you watch the air race? Do you follow somehow the race? And I said, yeah, of course, because all the amazing pilots, I was looking on them and cheering for them. They were competing there, and suddenly there was a guy actually offering me a place, or giving me the offer to be part of the qualification for the Red Bull Air Race. He said, yeah, I like how you fly and so on, and what about to try to get into the Red Bull Air Race? So it was 2007, and I said, yeah, of course, yeah, I'd love to try to get there. And he said, yeah, it's next year the group of the potential air race pilots, it's full already. And it was a group of Matthias Dolder and Pete McLeod, Matt, and so on, Yoshi. And so he said, yeah, you have to wait 1 year more. So 2008 qualification is closed already. 2009 you can join the group there. So I joined the 2009 qualification group, and at the end of 2009 we were 5 people there. 2 we got the super license, and I was lucky with the other guy, which was Adilson Kindelman from Brazil. And we both were very lucky because there were 2 free seats in the series for 2010. So in 2010 we both joined the Red Bull Air Race.
So that's a whole new discipline. You've done gliding aerobatics, competition aerobatics, national team, fighter pilot, and now another avenue's opening up. I mean, just the way you speak passionately about all things flying, it sounds like this must have been just another thing you could just sink your teeth into it and lean in hard. Tell me about that journey getting going, the 2010, and it all starts, and you've got a license and you've got a spot too.
Yeah, I was just incredibly happy having the super license, and yeah, but yeah, we were told like yeah, it's not, you have the super license, but we don't know yet how long time you have to wait to get your seat in the series. And so it was, I think 3rd December 2009 when they called us, like, okay, so you're in for the next season. In mid-February, we want you to report. You have your team, you have your airplane ready for the first race in March in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, I was a soldier, spending all my money I made in as a salary in the Air Force, spending them for the aerobatic training. So on my account was zero, and it was kind of like a mission to get ready for the series. I actually, because Mike Mangold was finishing, he quit in the 2009 in the Red Bull Aries. So I actually managed to arrange with him like how to buy his airplane, because his airplane was there's not many airplanes you can buy for like Red Bull Aries or for Air Race. Every team is working hard on the airplane, so the only chance is to buy the airplane from somebody racing in the Air Race. So Mike Mangold helped me a lot in this, American pilot, and yeah, so I don't know, it was like
Pressure.
it was pressure. I didn't have my U.S. license, so in those days I had to travel to United States to make my CPL FAA CPL, which American license, because I had only European license. So yeah, it was kind of tough job, but I reported mid-February that we're ready with my team, and then it was just, the first season. It's the first race it was amazing. Just stand on the airport, on the race airport, and seeing all the incredible names on the hangar. Yeah. On all the hangars, and one of them is mine. So yeah. Seeing my name in such a company, so it was great. And but we had to learn a lot from the very beginning. They said like, yeah, the first season is just, you can just get experience, just look around what and how the people around are doing things, and of course, but at the same time you don't want to be there like just you want to race. You want to be somebody who is fighting for good positions, and yeah, that was the next year. Was about like getting experience, trying to race faster, and then after one season, actually the Red Bull Aries was stopped. So I was there just 1 year, and there was a break, 3 years break, and then we started again in 2014. So yeah, it was. So I was in the Air Force, back in the Air Force, flying with the jets, and we started again in 2014, the new generation Red Bull Aries.
Okay, so just going back to that, a couple of questions about that. So you bought Mike Mangold's aircraft. What aircraft was that? That wasn't the Edge 540 yet, was it?
Yeah, it was Edge 540. Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that the same aircraft you're operating today?
No. It's this Edge. It was V2 version. Okay. It was the older version, and I used the airplane just 2010, starting 2014, this airplane was using the Challenger class in Red Bull Air Race. Yeah. So they used my airplane, And I actually bought the very new airplane from Zivco Aeronautics, the V3 version.
Okay.
We used it, I think, one or two seasons, and then Peter Bechenet, he quit also as a race pilot, and I was as a branded athlete already, starting 2011, Red Bull branded athlete, and now there was a Red Bull guy leaving the series, and we after him we replaced him as a Red Bull team. So starting, I think, 2016 or 15, I don't remember exactly. We started using his airplane actually. So the airplane, again, as the same story as the extra, is ex Peter Bechenet's airplane. So I'm actually collecting Peter Bechenet's airplanes, old Peter Bechenet's airplanes, and but it's fine. I like them. He always has very good airplanes, so.
So long may it last. Okay, so you answered one of my questions already there about being a Red Bull athlete, and it's quite a privilege to be a Red Bull athlete. So you were a branded athlete before, but you weren't the Red Bull team. And then when Peter left, then you could be not only a branded athlete but the Red Bull branded team as well. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I was Red Bull branded athlete for aerobatics. So the extra I fly is Red Bull branded for aerobatic competitions and for air shows and so on, exhibitions. I was already a Red Bull athlete, but in Red Bull Air Race, I was just with no branding, just some local Czech brandings there, and but not the whole team. And when Peter left, actually, so I had another incredible call from Red Bull, because it was funny story, because Peter Bechenet, he had beautiful canopy on his new V3, and on my V3 there was the original, even though it was V3, so but the canopy was still quite big, and I loved his canopy, super slick, racy canopy, and so I asked Eric Zivko from Zivko Aeronautics, could you produce a similar canopy for me? And he said, like, the owner of the license is Red Bull, so you have to call to Red Bull if they will allow you to have such a canopy. So I called to Red Bull, and they said, okay, wait a few days and we'll let you know. So I was waiting a few days, and a few days later, I was sitting in, it was, I think, 2 a.m. sitting in taxi in Hong Kong, I was competing on jet surf, which is the powered board racing on the water, and we had a competition there. So I was super tired, sitting in the taxi, 2 a.m. and I had a call from Red Bull, and they asked me, like, do you still need the canopy for your race plane? I said, yeah, I still would love to have such a canopy. And they said, what about, like, if we give you the whole airplane with the canopy? and I said, yeah, wow, of course, yeah. So, and they explained, like, that there is such a plan to Peter left, and I will replace him as a team. So yeah, it was really another amazing call.
Yeah. And perfect opportunity and timing as well. Wow, that
Exactly.
worked out very well.
It was just, so I sold the airplane to Peter Kopstein, another Czech pilot who raced in Red Bull Air Race. Okay. And so he had my airplane, and I was racing the Peter Bechenet.
Okay, well, that sounds good. I also just wanted to go back to that time. So, I mean, very exciting to get into 2010. Now you're racing, and there was no challenger class then, and you straight into the main master class, which is a great opportunity. But then, guns blazing, ready for that season. And at the end of the year, it must have felt like a bit of a letdown that all came down to a pause for 3 years. You're not racing again in 2011. So do you keep your airplane? Do you keep your team? What do you do in that time? Obviously, you stay working as an Air Force pilot, but Practically, what do you do with all this other kit?
Actually, just starting in the Red Bull Airways 2010 and before, we had no challenger classes, as you said. So before the first race in Abu Dhabi, I spent just we had just we had few qualification camps during the previous year, but the very last 1 week training camp was actually flying in the track. So we had 1 week experience flying in between the pylons, and we went racing in masterclass in Abu Dhabi. So it was really tough.
Yeah.
And so it's like a proof how quickly and how the sport was developing and improving everything, where we were actually at the end of 2019. It was just with every year was visible how the sport is improving, and I'm sure it will proceed this way in the future again, because it's just so much, there's so much potential in the sport. And after the break, yeah, I was in the Air Force. I still had my old airplane, and when we got the information that they planned like a restart of the Red Bull Air Race, yeah, I like had to like find out like what airplane will we race and so on, and I knew that this airplane is slow already for the master class. So yeah. I managed to sell the plane to the organizers of the Red Bull Air Race as a challenger class airplane, which gave me some money to be able to buy a new V3. So I actually ordered the new V3, which was built just before the start of the season 2014. So we started with the V3 version, and regarding the team, 2010, it was just actually it was just me, my brother Joseph as a team coordinator, and we had a Gordon Yu, which was our technician, and starting 2014, we actually, at the beginning we were 4 people, and after or during the first season 2014, we were 5 people, and we still have the same team. Me, my brother, Ivan Krakora, which is the media and PR manager in our team, Petr Františ, who is he's a guy with everything electronic, simulator, and so on, which is super important part of the preparation, is a simulator. So Peter Františ is a guy responsible for this as a tactician, and Lance Winter. So he's with us since 2014. So, and since that time, we still have the same team, and I'm actually very proud of it, and I like every single member of my team, and I love to cooperate with them. So yeah, I never kicked anybody out from my team. Nobody left yet. We'll see. And so yeah, and hopefully we'll start again with the same team.
That's wonderful. It must be a wonderful thing to be able to share this with your brother. Does he also fly?
Actually, just with me. He's since many years ago. He's always saying he will start his pilot training, but he's just talking about it because he can fly whenever he wants, actually, with me.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need the license. So no, just as a passenger with me, or when I'm tired, he's actually having the controls, and he can steer the airplane with no problem, but he doesn't have the license.
Okay, he hasn't quite understood that feeling of that first solo yet. You know, there's something special
exactly.
about that first solo, or many solos, but that first one. If you haven't had a license but you fly a lot, there's quite a big difference when you talk around and your instructor's no longer answering you anymore.
I heard a story from our aero club that there was a girl, and they put a voice recorder into, and she didn't know. They put it on the back seat of her glider, flying the first solo, and
Wow.
it was very funny to listen what she said about instructor, which was not there at the moment. He was on the and the instructor, he was listening the record, and he heard not very nice words about himself. So yeah, she was happy flying the airplane alone without that stupid guy behind her and so on. So that was like the story of the voice record.
Oh, that's funny. That's a good one. Oh, so Martin, it sounds great that you can have a team of five that's still together after all this time. I want to talk about the period where you're back into racing. You've built up your team. 2014 got better. 2015 got even better. Your team's bigger and stronger, and you start gearing up. And in 2017, you're the runner-up. Now, tell me your thought process is, you're obviously gunning to try and do as well as you can in 2017, but you get the runner-up. Second place is good, but it's almost sometimes second place can be worse than third place because you were so close. But tell me about your mood and your approach to life and racing at the end of 2017, and how you're going to tackle 2018 when you did actually become champion.
Yeah, we were actually very, very close to the title in 2017, and we lost it in the very last flight of the season. And it was just I can say I'm super competitive person from my childhood, but of course you need to, even though second place, it's first guy who is losing actually, but or who lost, but second place is still amazing in the World Championship, of course. But if the goal is so close, of course must be a little bit of disappointment by getting the second. But it was just it was experience, and it definitely prepared the whole team even better for 2018. And it was again. Now I can say funny, but in the beginning of 2018, it was definitely not funny because we started the season with 2 DQs for incorrect ignition and having the over RPM at the start of the race in Cannes, and we were DQ'd both races, and so we lost some points there. So it was the beginning of our season.
Not a good start to the campaign, yeah.
And I said, like, it's impossible. And it was just both were just our own technical mistake, that we didn't check the magnetos. We didn't program correctly the servo system, which is like keeping the correct RPM during the track. So we had, like, I don't know, 2 seconds longer, I don't know, a few RPM over, and yeah, it was just experience. And at the end, when we gained and reached the World Championship title in that season, after all this problems at the beginning of the season, it was just even like
sweeter victory, yeah?
Sweeter and more amazing than just having a super great season. And we won in the mid-season. We won 3 races in a row, and it was just incredible. Yeah, how we managed to just concentrate, throw everything behind, and just being concentrated with what we have to do in the next race. It's just incredible, and it was incredible season. And we won the title by the very last flight of the season. I was actually third before the last race. There was Mikey Goulian and Matt Hall in front of me. We managed to beat Mikey in round of 8, so there was still Matt in front of us in the final 4, and he flew just before me. I was the very last pilot of the whole season, and he was the second last. He flew super fast time, and we still beat him. The only chance was to beat him and win the whole race to be the world champions, and we beat him, and it was just yeah, it was really, really, really amazing.
That sounds incredible. I mean, even just sitting here thinking about it, it's certainly for me, my heart rate gets a little bit faster, and I get excited
Yeah.
for these kind of conversations.
Mine too. Always when
Titled.
I'm watching the video of the last flight of the season, it's just like again I'm sitting in the cockpit and having the same feeling.
Yes, and tell me, what did you change anything? So, I mean, obviously there was a big disappointment if it was in the last flight in the last race of the year, and you just didn't make the title 2017. What did you change in your approach or your team or your tactics? I know you started with the two DQs in 2018, but did you go into the season with some new approach?
After uh, we developed very good simulator. Peter Francis, the member of my team, he developed actually his own simulator from the very beginning, and it was a big help. And we started somewhere around 2016, I think, using the simulator in such a version we had at the end, and it's a great help because of uh, the system when we actually leave the race airplane in one corner of the world in Asia, for example, traveling by airline home, and we see the airplane in 3-4 weeks again. We have no chance to practice fly the airplane, and again just week before the or few days before the race we fly the airplane. So flying in between, fly the simulator, practice with the simulator, especially with different wind directions, which is a huge factor for the air race, which and how strong the wind blows. And so it was great help. And I would say not just mine, but the whole team, like the mental setup. We somehow got into the position when we already had quite a lot of experience. It's more or less impossible to just come into the Red Bull Air race before and the World Championship airs now and think about winning from the very beginning. Of course, you can succeed in one race, two race, but succeed in the whole season, it needs a lot of experience. And the scenario with the challenger class, it makes it much easier for the newcomers, for the newcoming pilots. So we simply just got into the position when I was actually very calm. I managed to work with my brain quite well, and you need all those up and downs to get into such a position. And suddenly I was just I was able to fly the airplane, even though it was just the very last flight of the whole season, winning the title or not. And I was absolutely calm. I didn't feel any pressure. And yeah, that was actually the position and the strength actually which gave us the opportunity to actually reach much higher results or yeah, to get
I
to the
think if you
podium in
for the season, yeah. No, I mean, if you talk to lots of top athletes, that sense of calmness, that sense of flow, it really is quite a key aspect to be able to deliver. If you're holding on tight, and you're a little bit more tense, and you're really pushing for something. You don't have the same perspective, and certainly in situational awareness and all those things with your performance. But what you described at the beginning of the year, starting with the two DQs. It also makes me think we had that conversation with Matt recently where he hit the water in Detroit, and after that he decided things had to change, and very quickly they did change, and within a short time he was world champion. Did these two DQs? I mean, so you started the season well. You said you developed a simulator nicely. With those two DQs, did you have a team talk and say, guys, we need to pull this together? If we have any chance, and we were so close to winning it last year, we can't start like this. What was the mood in the camp after those first two races?
uh yeah, I don't want to blame anybody, but but the second and even more painful DQ in Cannes was issue of Peter Frantisch, my very good friend. a very nice guy, super clever, huge help for the team, but he made a mistake in the programming of the servo system, and the race before, because weight is super important and a big factor in air racing, and every kilo on top is just disadvantage. And because I'm quite tall, so my body weighs something more than Yoshi's, for example.
Sure.
And so I had to reduce my weight to very minimum. And those 3-4 weeks before race in Cannes, I had a special diet. I tried to lose every microgram from my body to don't carry the extra weight during the race. So it was very painful for me. And during, for example, a lunch during the pre-race days, my team, they were just they had a lot of food and making jokes, on me, like, yeah, take some one more tomato and not more, and we got the penalty with the DQ. So I was just really disappointed. And the very first thing I did when we left the airport, I stopped by one of the fast food restaurants, and I ate 2 full menus plus some extras, and I never enjoyed such a food in my life before better. And I said, yeah, so it was for nothing, and now we have to just change something, the system of the controls in the team, but this brainstorming was done. The first brainstorming was done in such a restaurant, when I made very big mistake or fault or whatever in my diet system. But I was very disappointed. So I actually needed this, and again, like I said, even though it was that painful, it was just experience, and we managed to throw away everything and just being concentrated for the next race. And we knew already that we can fly fast, that we can find the best trajectory, and it just had to sit down a little bit, and starting the next race, I don't know, where was it, maybe Chiba, we were third, and then 3 wins in a row, and suddenly we were in the lead of the field.
So it sounds like you had a great review process there. Like any high-performing team, you got to review what happened, what didn't happen, what should we do better. So sitting in the restaurant enjoying some food, your mind's kicking into gear. I mean,
Peter Francis, he made a very good political decision, because I was really angry, and as a team manager, I wanted to solve it like immediately on site the race airport. And he was amazing political. He had like this political advice, let's say, or he said, like, now we have like red eyes, and everything is too fresh. I will find out like what happened. I will send you the report, and then we'll solve it, like how to do it, because otherwise I would probably kill him. And I calmed down. I ate some junk food and so on. So it was a good decision to solve it a few days later. With calm head, and it was much better way how to solve the whole situation.
So it sounds like you also enjoy your food there. There's another story about this, is that typically it seems to be more common in men than in women. But if you get hungry and things start bugging you a little bit, you can't contain it as much as if you weren't hungry. And certainly if you're on this very restrictive diet, you must have been hungry, and then you get upset. They call that hangry and angry combined. So you're in an angry phase of mind. Just get some cheeseburgers and sort that out.
Yeah, I was really hangry.
Oh, great. Now, I want to ask you a little bit. We're coming up to the last couple of questions here. It's been such a wonderful chat. Time's gone fast. Martin, as a Red Bull athlete, as the Red Bull team, now that the new championship has all been announced and there's a lot of excitement that's in the air, we want to kick off next year. Looking forward to next season as it begins World Championship Air Race. Are you conflicted at all? What are your thoughts about Red Bull being very close to Red Bull? You're still going to be a Red Bull team, but now it's now World Championship Air Race. What are your thoughts on what was and how good it was? Because people celebrate the World Champs Air Race, the Red Bull Air Race. Red Bull's now stepped away. What are your thoughts on the Red Bull involvement in the sort of team level now competing in World Champs Air Race?
I'm actually, first of all, I'm very proud being a Red Bull athlete because I love how they do things, how they help on the different areas to people which need the help, and it's actually very easy to be proud because it's simply great brand. And after all the history of the Red Bull Air Race, I think it's natural for Red Bull and for World Championship Air Race to be, even though it's not Red Bull Air Race anymore, but to be somehow connected because simply Red Bull bring the sport to the world. That's right. Developed the sport, invested a lot of money into the sport, and now there's such a base and millions of fans, and so it's simply just kind of natural for me, even though it's not Red Bull Air Race anymore, for Red Bull to have some team in the sport and be still very close to such amazing motorsport. So hopefully I'll be very proud and to be a Red Bull team again, and hopefully it will happen, and so on. So yeah.
And it is great, and people really do celebrate that they created this product that is air racing, the Red Bull Air Race. It's got a great brand and history, and certainly really looking forward to what World Championship Air Race can now do. They've taken the baton, and now they're putting their own energy and their own flavor on it and tweaking some of the things. And one of the things that really impresses me is this new team process, following on with the motor racing. There's a team and a pilot, and they could be interchangeable. Now there can be a team, whether you're flying or not. In a few years' time, maybe you don't want to fly anymore. Maybe by then your brother Joseph has his license and he wants to race. He can be the pilot in the team that you run. What are your thoughts on the team process of this new World Championship Air Race?
This is I like such a scenario when actually some of the race pilots, of course, those with like good those pilots which are good managers, of course. So it's again like very natural for me if such a pilot, after finishing his career as a race pilot, he's become a race principal or race team principal, because he has tons of experience, and it's simply just wasting of that experience. Just leave the sport, leave the series, and just talk about the sport somewhere in the bar in his hometown. It's much better if he stays in the project and actually help to new pilot coming into the sport with all his experience, all his managing experience, to just move everything further and make the life easier for the new race pilot. So yeah, I actually like it very much, and very happy for example Matthias Dollar, that he's like a team principal, that all his experience as a world champion and from all the years he spent in the Red Bull Air Race, it will still keep there in his team, but just Flo B will be his race pilot, and I'm actually very looking forward to watch his team, how this will work and how successful he will be, and so on. So, but yeah, it's a brilliant scenario.
It is good. Well, I have a last couple of questions for you, Martin. So in your career, you've flown lots of different types of aeroplanes, and this question really is a bit of a left field kind of question. You know, there's some aeroplanes you see there in the distance, and they look nice, and you know that if you were to jump into them, they fly nicely. What's an aircraft that you previously thought was not such a great looking or didn't have high aspirations for it, but when you got in and flew it, it was surprisingly nice? What aircraft that you've flown has this surprising or surprised you in a good way?
Normally, actually, the theory which works is good-looking airplane is like very good flying airplane, but or in flying, but vice versa. Uh, uh, I don't know. Maybe there's a Czech-made ultralight named Sluka, which is a super light, just fabric and few tubes connected to kind of shape of a small airplane, single seat airplane, super light, and it looks like it's barely can fly or reach some safe altitude for just being able to fly from point A to point B. And actually, when I flew the airplane, I was surprised how amazing the airplane is, how fun, how much with such an airplane. So this is definitely one of them. And from the like widely known airplanes, I don't know. I don't like. No, I don't have. I have to say, like, I don't have like such experience that I would be surprised, like because when some airplanes when looked like it will fly not very nicely. Unfortunately, I was right after that, and it was not a very good airplane. And but
I like your answer about the Sluka, and that's great. Thank you so much
Sonka,
for
yes,
that.
it's one of the case like when I was really surprised how great airplane it is.
Oh, that's good. Okay, and you're at the end of the race weekend's over. You can zip down your overall a bit, let your hair down, relax a bit. The racing's over. What's your favorite post-race food? What's your go-to meal at the end of the race?
After racing Cannes, it was the fast food, uh, but otherwise I like very much the Czech traditional cuisine or meals. Uh, like we cook dumplings quite a lot, and yeah, many different things which I don't even know how to call them in English. And I love sushi a lot. So we always enjoy every race in Japan, and we spend like more or less every evening having sitting in some restaurants eating a very good sushi. And another very good sushi is actually in the hometown of our technician Lance Winter. He's from Arizona, from Phoenix, and we know they're very good sushi restaurant there.
Okay, good.
And also Italian food. I'm actually a food lover, so I love to eat a lot. So and I'm very actually happy that I'm not gaining too much weight after that. That my metabolism is very quick, so I can do so to eat a lot with not gaining that much extra weight. So yeah, Italian, Czech traditional, of course, sushi, and sometimes, but yeah, like sometimes Mexican, for example. I like many different types of food actually.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, Martin, it's been an absolute pleasure having this conversation with you. I've enjoyed the time. All the best with your team and racing, and as it unveils itself, the 2022 World Championships Air Race, and we hope to see more podiums from you in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, and can't wait the 2022 season. See you.
Thank you.